Gain structure is so fundamental to what we do with live sound, with being in the studio. Everything with live sound, gain structure is so important. Well, when dealing with plugins, there's another piece of this that you need to think about. And having a healthy signal is not only important with your microphones and your converters, it's really important when we're talking about stacking compressors together one after another. So let's take a look at this. So for this example, I'm using a pink noise generator on this channel, but I want you to pretend like it's a vocal. The pink noise is just so that we can see a signal as we're talking about it. So right now the signal is at -20. And then after that, we've got an EQ, and then I've got two different compressors. So let's say this is a vocal, and we're metering at -20. We want to cut out some low mids, and maybe we'll bump up some highs, and then we want to add a little bit of compression. So our threshold's all the way up. So let's turn that down and get a decent amount of compressor there. And then let's add another compressor. All right, now we're rocking. This thing sounds great. All the levels are happy. Everything's good. Well, that's because we've got a pretty healthy level, -20. That's fine. But what happens if we didn't send enough signal to this? Well, let's turn this down. Maybe we're somewhere down here. And then maybe we had to cut a little more out of this EQ. Now let's go to this compressor. Well, now it's not doing anything. So we're gonna have to change the threshold because the amount of level now going into this compressor is different. So let's turn that down. Whoa. Okay, so now we're all the way down to -15 and we're only at 2 dB of reduction, and it won't do anything else. Now let's go to the API. Let's turn this threshold down. Well, now it's not doing anything because this SSL compressor is also compressing and leveling that signal and sending out even less into the API. So you can kind of get where I'm going here. And then you're going to find yourself wanting to turn up output gain because you're not having enough signal. And then what are you doing at that point with a live vocal microphone? Well, you're turning up a bunch of noise. So that's not good either. All right, so on the flip side, what happens if we've got too much signal? So let's go back here and we're at -10. And maybe it's a kick drum and we want to add some low end. We want to add a little bit of high end. Now let's go to the SSL. Okay, that's lots of compression. Let's turn that threshold up. Well, wait a second. I'm at 5 dB of compression and I can't turn that down. Let's turn the ratio down to 2:1. I'm still in compression. And the API, let's turn that all the way up. Wrong way. I'm still in compression. So there's two sides to this. Having too much signal with compressors can also do you some harm. And like I got red lights everywhere. I got this compressor's clipping. I got this one clipping. I'm sure this one's close too. So you get the point. It's something to definitely be aware of when you start stacking compressors together. With not enough signal, you can find yourself wanting to turn up output gain and increasing noise. And with too much signal, you may be in compression forever and not be able to get out of it. So just remember, just like in the studio or when you're setting up microphones and setting your gain initially with your analog preamps or your digital preamps, this is so very important.